concept, the idea that Madison Brooks was raped is a hoax. And it's fantastic and delusionary. It originated in the concepts of the police, as well as the prosecutor, as well as the city of Baton Rouge. This concept, this theory, has been put forth in an attempt to divert the liability of Madison Brooks' death from the city of Baton Rouge. The city of Baton Rouge is responsible for Madison Brooks' death. And let me explain. In the area where Madison Brooks was allegedly asked to be let out the car, lacks proper, sufficient lights to see. It has already been determined and proven that a few people has died and been hit by cars in that area due to the lack of light. This is a liability for the city of Baton Rouge. Therefore, the city of Baton Rouge negligent or gross negligence acts after knowing previous people was hit by cars due to the lack of lighting is the direct causation of Madison Brooks' death. Do you see now why the police, the prosecutor, has not pursued as to what the driver in the car was doing that did not allow that driver to see Madison Brooks on the road? They did not want to go down this road because they would implicate the city of Baton Rouge as negligent or gross negligence for failure to correct the lighting in that area. When you look at things, people, you must look at a case with the liabilities in a legal setting. This is why no one in the police department, as well as the prosecutor, wanted to determine what actually the speed of the driver was going, or what was this driver doing that the driver did not see Madison Brooks in the road or crossing the road. That is an issue that the defendant's counsel need to explore. Now let's go even further. Let me prove to you why Madison Brooks was not raped. When we hear the word rape, somebody was raped, we are moved by emotions. I too was moved by my emotions. But after seeing additional evidence, I had to look at it from a legal, practical perspective as well as a realistic perspective. We want to paint Madison Brooks as this lily white girl, innocent white girl. This is what we want to paint her as. But guess what? I'm going to get there in a moment. Now, when we look at Reggie's Bar, Reggie Bar, the owner of Reggie's Bar, is liable. And the city is liable because the city, as well as the department that issued Reggie's liquor license, they were complacent in knowing that Reggie's Bar had a custom, practice, or a policy to target, aid underage girls or boys to drink. Now, the city, the police, and the prosecutor want y'all to believe that this is a minute issue. It is a serious issue of liability because it goes to the heart of the police, the prosecutor, and the city being complacent in promoting underage drinking. As you can see, the city is liable as well as other individuals that issue Reggie's license as well as the owner of Reggie's are liable for the death of Madison Brooks. That is not an opinion. That is a legal declaration of the facts. There are no disclaimers here. I know the law. I'm not afraid. I can defend. and I know my position is correct. Now, let's get to this hoax of the rape. Like I said, it originated in the police minds on the theory that her blood alcohol level, I believe at 0.319, would not have allowed her to consent. Well, I place her alcohol level at 0.07 in between 0.09, meaning that she could think and she can clear. Although she may have been a little bit unstable on her feet, she could think. It has been established that she consented to the sex. But let's go back and look at something everybody is ignoring. She was in the bar drinking heavily, drinking random drinks on a bar that didn't belong to her. The 4 young men left. You know their names. Kayvon Washington, John Doe, underage guy, Casey Carver, and I believe Everett Lee. These young men are not responsible for a crime that did not occur. Once again, the assertion that she was raped is to overshadow the liability of the city for Madison Brooks' death, as well as the bar owner's culpability, as well as the police culpability in Madison Brooks' death. They did nothing. They fostered and promoted and turned a blind eye to the bar owners contributing, promoting of underage drinking. Now, when you look at the fact that these 4 young men left the club, left the bar, I call it a club bar. They left it. They didn't pursue Madison Brooks. As a matter of fact, Madison Brooks is seen running after these guys and asking them for a ride. Yet, she could have asked her sorority sisters, girlfriends, or other young women. But she pursued these 4 guys for a reason. Today, I can say that Madison Brooks, this is not my opinion. This is not my theory. Once again, I'm looking at this from the standpoint of a legal standpoint. Madison Brooks was not raped. As a matter of fact, Madison Brooks was setting Reggie's bar up, setting the 4 alleged defendants up. I call them alleged defendants because they're not defendants. The case is malicious prosecution. Madison Brooks was engineering a come up for a bag of money. Let me put it another way for if you don't understand it. Madison Brooks was I'm not going to say conspiring. Madison Brooks was setting in motion a payday. In other words, Madison Brooks, for all practical purposes, pursued these young men, intended to have sex with some of them, and then screamed rape as a result. And this is how I know she was setting them up for a payday. She was setting Reggie's bar up for a payday, meaning she was going to bring a suit against Reggie for providing alcohol to her. And then she got in this car with these guys that contributed to her alleged inability to consent or impaired her consent, and they raped her. When she was hit on the road, I believe that she deliberately jumped out there in front of that car, and they didn't see her. I want you to think back. You got this woman in the road, acting scared, pretending to be scared, jump out in front of a car, or just standing in the road, and they say, hey, we found her in the road crying and doing this here. Madison Brooks was setting Reggie's bar up, as well as the 4 defendants, for a civil lawsuit, as well as criminal charges. They want you to believe that these men raped this woman. But she's the one coming out the bar running after them. They have no interest in her. But she showed an interest in them. Ask yourself, people, What type of woman would do this? She was looking for a payday. See, you can scream rape, but that's an allegation. It has not been proven. So if you are of the opinion that she was raped, then you are saying that the due process clause of the Constitution of the United States is meaningless. And you're saying that these guys should not have a fair trial. Remember, this theory, this concept of rape originated in the minds of the police, the prosecutor, because they are liable. They are trying to cover up the fact that Madison Brooks was killed because of the lightning in the road. And the driver could have been culpable. But see, they can't pursue the driver because they show their own negligence. The lightning. Come on, people. If you believe that Madison Brooks was raped, you're a fool. That's an allegation. Evidently, Madison Brooks did not perceive these 4 young men as threats. She's running after them. She's lucid. That's not what a drunk person do. Why is it that she was not so drunk that Reggie Barr stopped her, that friends and girls stopped at the bar? Nobody stopped her because she was running after easy targets. 3 black guys and a white guy. Now you have this guy Carson. He stated that he believed that she was too drunk to consent. That's subjective in your mind. She consented. The reason why I say she wasn't raped as a fact, none of these guys denied the fact that she may have been too drunk to drink, but they don't know. But she consented. The theory that the prosecutor and the police are trying to push is that her blood alcohol level, let me explain something about that blood alcohol level that they're not telling you. When you die, your body produces alcohol. And if you got diabetes, it produces alcohol at a higher level. And if you're hit by a car, it produces more alcohol. Everybody, when their body decomposes, produce alcohol. So the prosecutor and their line experts and whoever took those autopsy reports, they're trying to conflate that and put it together to increase the alcohol level. So if you go Google, when you die, do you produce alcohol? You're going to see this here. And if you do an in-depth research, you will know that you must be able to distinguish this here. And this is what the defendant's lawyer was saying when they believed that the alcohol level has been exaggerated. And I declare today that it has been exaggerated, because if it was 0.319, she could not walk. She could not walk. She could not run out there and do that. So the prosecutor and them, like I said, they're covering up the fact that the city is liable for Madison Brooks' death. Therefore, for all practical purposes, there is absolutely no evidence that these guys raped Madison Brooks. Now, to bolster the case of rape, they have resurrected a case that when one of the, I believe Kayvon Washington, they alleged that when he was 16, raped a 12-year-old girl. Well, if you didn't do anything then, and now that you're resurrecting that case, you are resurrecting that case to try to bolster a conviction, because there's nothing new that's been added. They're saying that at the time that he was charged, allegedly raped this 12-year-old girl, that there was a conflict in what was going on, so they didn't pursue it. So as you can see, now you are pursuing this case based on these new allegations. I charge the police and the prosecutor with conspiracy to violate these 4 young men's constitutional rights, to cover up the negligence of the city, as well as the license department that issued Reggie Barr their license to have liquor, as well as the police complacency for not shutting these guys down earlier. Therefore, for all practical purposes, Madison Brooks was not raped. That is a theory of the prosecution. Welcome back to Speak Fan Holding. If you like, subscribe and share.